Hey everybody, Mark Edward Lewis here from CinemaSound.com. Today we're going to be looking at another comparison contrast between Adobe Premiere Pro and Davinci Resolve, specifically on the Fairlight page and how dynamics work versus single band compressor. Let's roll. All right, y'all, we're doing something we probably shouldn't be doing, and that's having both Premiere and Davinci Resolve running at the same time, but hey, for demo purposes, that's what we're gonna do. Let's take a listen to this piece I just recorded on a lavalier here on my phone, connected directly in, pretty lousy sounding, but generally what we would get from normal audio on set.
Lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs right into my phone via Lightning on my iPhone, and it should sound quite a bit better than the regular microphone that we.
So you kind of get the idea. And let's instantiate now the single band compressor on the channel track mixer, single band compressor. And one of the things we don't like about Premiere is that we have to double click all of our plugins to have them show up. It's a very, very basic compressor, but very, very functional. Here's Davinci Resolve. We have it here. We double click. We also want to make sure that our order is EQ Dynamics Effects, which is a nice addition that they've put into 17. And here we go. So let's start. This obviously has a bunch of other things that we're not going to be talking about. The expander gate, the limiter, that's all built in, and also the capability of sidechaining. But we're going to just turn on the compressor and take a listen to what we have here. We're going to bring down the threshold. Let's take a look at the audio here first.
Now here I'm using a lavalier.
Looks like it's about -15. So we're going to bring the threshold down to about 35, give it 20 decibels worth of work, and see how we do.
Now here I'm using a lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs right into my.
Now what we're trying to do is make it a little more punchy. This is kind of a dialogue. We want to see if we can punch it up.
My phone via Lightning on my iPhone, and it should sound quite a bit better than the regular microphone that we were using.
And what we'll need to do is raise the attack to probably around 30 and the release very short. Now the problem with the Resolve is that you can't get the release shorter than 50 and you can't get the attack to instant. It has a nice hold feature, and of course you can sidechain, which is really great. But the basics are missing from this plugin, and that is we can't get shorter than 50 milliseconds, and we can't get to zero attack, which is a huge problem in post-production. But let's see what happens here.
Using on the phone itself. Now here I'm using a lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs right into my phone via Lightning on my iPhone, and it should sound quite a bit better than the regular microphone that we were.
It's certainly punchier if we turn this off.
Using on the phone itself. Now here I'm using a lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs right into my phone.
Turn it on.
Now here I'm using a lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs right into my phone via Lightning on my iPhone, and it should sound quite a bit better than the regular microphone that we.
So that's punchier. But if I wanted to cut off transients, unfortunately, I'd have a problem because I can't get to zero.
Now here I'm using a lavalier from Ceramonic.
And you can hear the fluttering. Listen to the breath.
Now here I'm
once again.
Now here I'm using.
It's because it's not true zero, and we can only get to 50 milliseconds, and that's a problem. So let's take a look at the same thing in Premiere. Again, now no bells and whistles here, but we'll do the same thing. We'll go to about 35 decibels. We'll do an 11:1 ratio, which is very, very strong. Notice we can go to 0 milliseconds, and we can go to 0 milliseconds and release. But we're going to do that 20 milliseconds and around, let's see, we'll double click here. We'll start with 50.
That we're using on the phone itself. Now here I'm using a lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs right into my phone via Lightning on my iPhone. And
notice how much punchier this sounds. This is what we want for post-production. Maybe not so much for music, but for post-production, we want to be able to punch up dialogue that's kind of fluffy, slow.
And it should sound quite a bit better.
Quite a bit better. It's much stronger than if we turn this off.
Than the regular microphone that we were using on the phone itself. Now here I'm
and back on.
Using a lavalier from Ceramonic that plugs.
Now if we want to cut off the transients, we can just go to attack to 0.
Right into my phone via Lightning on my iPhone, and it should sound quite a bit better than the regular microphone.
Just complete haircut because this is a true zero attack. Now it doesn't have all the fun bells and whistles, but we don't want to use a compressor that has bells and whistles. We want it to have just what we need, because if we need to do a combination plugin, then we'll open up that plugin and we'll show you the comparison between the two combination plugins in a different video. So as you can see, there's some pretty significant differences between the Dynamics plugin in Resolve and single band compressor. And single band compressor may seem like it's a little too simplistic, but it's also incredibly easy to use and sounds really, really good. Now, granted, the Fairlight algorithms in the Dynamics plugin are amazing. I got to give you that. And, it's a beautiful interface. But the problem is you can only instantiate one of them. And, if you've looked at the Adobe Premiere Pro presets that we offer or the Resolve presets, you know that to get a really beautiful, smooth dialogue sound, you need more than one Dynamics compressor or Dynamics plugin. And that's simply not really possible without using third-party plugins in Resolve, which, that's cheating. Hopefully, we'll see you at cinemasound.com, where we have hundreds of articles and videos there for you. And please subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel, where, again, hundreds of videos to help you get that powerful $6 million audience immersion without having to improve or make your budget any bigger. I look forward to seeing you there. If not, we'll see you in post.
Even if for yourself.